Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 101 of our BU 365-day challenge to do one thing every day that improves us. Today we're going to talk about our spiritual musts, wants, musts, and need to do to impact our spiritual health, our spiritual well-being. Now, these definitions and distinctions between things that we want, things that we must have, and things that we need are important for all areas and aspects of our life. Why? They help us prioritize, make everyday decisions, figure out what's right for us. So yesterday we talked about should, right? Shoulds are how other people want us to show up in the world. Musts, wants, and needs are all about how we want to show up in the world. Let me take a sip of coffee and look at some of the notes I took. And then today we're going to share a 5-step process that you can use to prioritize your needs, the must-haves in your life, over the wants. Because guess what? There are an infinite number of things that we could want as society and mankind grows and matures, and as more things are invented, the list of things that we could want becomes almost limitless. It is unlimited. It's limited only by our imagination to determine the things that we could want and desire. So what's the difference between a must-have, a need, and a want? I think of musts and needs sort of in the same category, right? A need or a must is something that's who we are. It's inherent in our being. It's what we live for. It's the things that we're passionate about. It's our truest version of ourselves. It's who we are when nobody else is looking. Those are the must. We must behave in a certain way. We must have certain things. We must have a certain impact on things. It's what we breathe for. It's how we live. It's the things that are really inherent in who we are as individuals. Again, it's our truest version of ourselves, who we are when nobody else is looking. That leads to our discussion of needs. Needs are things that pretty much all human beings need, right? We need food, we need shelter, we need clothing, we need houses, we need a place to live, things like that. Wants, on the other hand, the list is, like I said, unlimited. We might want to travel. We might want to join a coaching program. We might want to be a part of an organization. We might want a particular job. We might want, the list is endless. So, food, water, shelter, clothing, those are things we need. We need to prioritize those things, right? For our survival. Needs are things that we have to have in order to live. Wants are things that we want because we believe that they're going to improve or impact the quality of our life. So what's a simple 5-step process to help us identify and prioritize? Because if we don't take care of our needs, we're not going to be alive to enjoy the things that we want in life, right? So as far as I'm concerned, needs are really musts. We must have enough food and water to sustain our life and give us energy to do anything else in our life. We have to have clothing and shelter. In most, instances, we need clothing and shelter and things like that. So how do we prioritize those things? Well, the first thing we need to do is, number one, make a list of all of our needs and wants. Just throw them all. Just start brainstorming a list. And then if you want to put a little N by the needs or an M for must have, or you can separate them out. Needs might be the things like food, shelter, and clothing that we have to live. Must might be the moral and the level of certain things that we need to feel good about ourselves to be the truest version of ourselves. Some people have a certain level of income that they must attain each year, or it devastates them, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, etc. So maybe that's on your must list. And then wants is everything else, anything else that you want that would improve the quality of your life. So you could put a W, M, and N by each of those on your list, and then look at that list. Step 2 is to research the prices or the cost. And I like to do more than just money. I like to do money, time, and energy, because that's going to be, the time and energy things are going to be higher cost to me, because those are resources that once I give them up, I don't get them back. Energy, I guess, if you eat and things, but we're not going to get into the depth of that discussion. So step 2, research what is the cost. I would say, what are the cost in resources, not just dollars, not just the prices of things. Step 3 is to cut out all the luxuries. If you need to, depending on your level of income, you're going to have to cut out certain luxuries, things that are on your want list that you can't afford right now. A lot of us got a lot of experience during COVID, right? During COVID, there were things that weren't even available to us that were actually on the needs and must-have category. And so we needed to prioritize those things in terms of how we attained those resources during COVID. And a lot of the luxuries and things that we wanted and the luxuries, they weren't even available to us during COVID. So step 4 is to get multiple streams of income. Now, that's another big lesson that COVID taught us. If your only source of income was your job and your job was furloughed or you were laid off during COVID, you were in big trouble. Yeah, you might have gotten a few pennies from the government, but chances are it wasn't enough to sustain you through the time period if your job was your only source of income. But if you have other sources of income, and I learned this when I was young, I always worked in corporate America. I went to college, got a good job, worked in corporate America, but I also had different businesses on the side. So I always had more than one stream of income coming in. So step 4, find multiple streams of income. There are literally thousands of opportunities and ways to have multiple streams of income. You know, there's real estate, there's network marketing, there's internet marketing, there's thousands of things, surveys, making packages, reselling products. There's thousands of ways to make money. And so you want to have more than just one thing that you're dependent on, because things like COVID, as unbelievable as many of us would have thought that was before, look at the impact that's had on all of us. And it's going to continue to impact us probably for decades to come. And then step 5 is be honest with yourself. Be sincere with yourself. Be really open and honest with respect to what do I need? What must I have? What do I want? And be clear on what's what, right? There are a lot of things that we want that we think are needs for us. A lot of people want to travel, but they think that they need to travel, right? My son needs to travel every once in a while or he gets stir crazy. And that then becomes a must, right? Because it's inherent in his being, his personality, who he is, and what makes him thrive in life. So that's a must, right? So you've got your needs, your musts. Must he travel? No. I mean, does he need to travel? No. He doesn't need to travel. He must travel. And then he wants to see a certain number of countries in the world, or see certain countries in the world, or do certain things in the world, etc. I like to use other people as examples sometimes, not just myself. So our action item today is to just run through, do this exercise, right? Do this prioritization of your needs over your musts and wants, right? Because we can live without our musts, right? It digs into who we are, but spiritually we can live for a certain amount of time without fulfilling our musts. But at some point we need to work toward those. That's why this challenge is awesome, because we can be continually every day just doing a little bit to move us toward the things, not only that we need in our life, those are almost a given, but the things that we must have that make us who we are, and then add on and continue to strive for the things that we want. All right, and then we're just going to share one want in the comments below. So just do the exercise and just share one want. It can be anything. You know, I wanted to, and I don't think I do anymore, visit all 50 states in the United States. I think I've been to about half or 3/4 of them, but there's some that I've missed that it would be cool to see in my lifetime. And as my vision gets worse and worse and worse, the sooner rather than later. But it's not a must for me. It's not inherent in who I am. It's definitely not a need. It's just something that I wanted to do. It's on that bucket list. Bucket list things are wants, right? So just share one want. That's it. Have an awesome day. Any questions, ask. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow for our next daily challenge to positively impact our spiritual well-being. Bye. Have an awesome day.